eviction notice, the unlawful detainer action, we've got the motion to quash, the mirror. We're going on to Chapter 13, BK filing if necessary, creditor hearing, motion for relief of stay, temporary restraining order, lockout stay, Chapter 13 completed by, you can do a Chapter 13 5 times, or 10 if you want to. If you don't go through it, you keep doing it over and over again, but the judge will typically tell you after the second time, don't do that anymore. So you can extend this out for probably 9 months to a year pretty easily, and it takes about that amount of time to get to the litigation. How much? Okay. So do a lockout date. So here's what I want you guys to see. Here's what we do. If there's a walkaway, and I'd say half of our stuff is walkaways, where somebody says, I don't want the house anymore, don't worry about the foreclosure process, forget it, let the bank have it, I want restitution. That's great. We love those. So if somebody says, you know, I'm not worried about foreclosure, you don't have to try to save the house for us, we're just going to walk away. That saves us all the time and effort to go right into the litigation immediately and get our money and their money and so on. And typically what happens is we give the owner of the property, whoever the owner is, 10% of our net profit at the end. They well, 10% of your net profit, that's not very much for a guy who allowed you to make $1 million. Sure, when we met him, he owed $1.5 million. He had made payments for a year. And we're going to go ahead and create the equity for him. And if we can keep the house for him, that's wonderful. He can move into it or stay in it, keep all of the benefits. He can have future appreciation, equity build up, principal reduction. He can have all the tax write-off. He can have every single stitch of the fee simple real estate ownership in that property. And we're going to lower his payments down to about 2% of the current value of the property. So where he used to owe $1.5 million, now he only owes $800,000, and we're going to give him an $800,000 loan with 1.5% fixed. And the way we do that, since he can't get a loan, his credit's shot because of the foreclosure action and everything else, we're just going to have to go out and get a 50% hard money loan with a payment that is based on a 2%, 80 or 90% loan. So now all of a sudden, all of that money that he owed, he no longer owes. And his payment is dropped by half, and he gets 10% of the equity that we've created in that property. If he's staying in the property, he's got 5 years to go ahead and sell it or refinance it and pay us off.
You lost me at the part, where does the loan come from?
That's a hard money loan, an asset-based loan.
And it's at what percent?
Say it again.
At what percent?
Well, it depends. It's his job, it's the buyer's job to get the loan. So if he could get a conforming loan, that's okay with us. All we want to know is that his payments that he's making on the true verified value of the property are about 2%. We want a 2% fixed rate loan. Now the way we can do that, since he can't qualify normally for a loan, we have to get a 40 or 50% hard money loan. And he's going to pay 14%, 12%, maybe 15%, but we want his payment to reflect what he would be paying if he had a 2% loan in the full amount.
What's security for a hard money loan?
It's our equity. It's the end of the word. We've got a free and clear house at that point.
How do you get free and clear?
Because we got the loan taken off of it. No longer any loan. How? Let's go back to the beginning of my presentation.
Let's go.
If you don't mind, we'll just start over again. That's how. But no, seriously, don't stop asking questions. Forget the loan off, but challenge you to the bank. That's what we've been talking about.
Through the negotiation.
We don't negotiate. We go and tell them what we're going to want, what we want. There's no negotiation. We say, we're not going to negotiate with you. We want you to release the lien on this property, and we want you to give us the deed back. And if you don't want to do that, that's okay. We just go to court tomorrow.
And how many times have you pulled this off?
114 so far. But it's not just us. It's law offices across the United States that are successful. There are thousands of people who purport to do what we do. Most of them are full of baloney. Most of them have never completed a transaction. Most of them can't complete a transaction, and the ones they've tried, they're failed at because they don't understand some of the simplest concepts. They're going after show me the note. Now, that's old-fashioned stuff, they'll always lose. We don't care about the note. What we're interested in doing, more than anything else, is proving that the lender never spent a penny. And what they're trying to do is to take this house back without any standing to foreclose on it. What do you suppose happens if they foreclose on you and your house is worth $600,000 and they go sell it at auction for $500,000? What do you suppose they do with the $500,000?
Keep it.
No, they're going to give it back. It's just like O.J. Simpson. He's going to go find the original killer. So what they're going to do is they're going to give it back to whoever they owe it to. Well, they owe it to a whole bunch of people named Wong and Chong and Ching and people in Japan and China and Taiwan and Formosa and on and on. That's who they owe the money to. Do you suppose they're ever going to find those people? No, they're going to hold the money in reserve, though. They're not going to spend it. They won't spend the money. They're just going to put it in the reserve. Now, what's the rule about reserves? They can loan out 10 times. Any bank can loan out, by federal standard, can loan out 10 times their reserves. That's a pipe dream dreamed up by, never mind. So that means that your $600,000, your $500,000 sale that they got means they can loan out $5 million. They don't have to spend the money, they just put it in reserve. So now they can loan out $5 million, they couldn't care less whether they ever find Mr. Wong or not. Yeah, let me ask you guys this. And this time you got to raise your hand whether you like me or not. And you do, you love me. And I know that, because I can tell this guy. Sorry. Here's the thing, how many of you think that what I told you right now is a bunch of BS? Be honest. Okay? That's because you were sleeping the whole meeting. Okay? But, no, you wouldn't think it was BS if I could start all over again and show you what we just talked about. How many of you don't think it's BS? Raise your hand. Thank you. I can tell you right now that you have the choice of thinking it's BS or you have a choice of doing something. How much is it going to cost you? Let's say you got a house and you want to do this. How much do you think we would charge you to do this for you? Anybody got an idea what it would be worth to you?
How much we would charge?
Yeah, how much are you going to charge to get the loan off your property, leave you in the property, and give you 10% of the equity that we can create? How much are we going to charge?
You're going to charge me zero. You're going to give me 10% of the tax.
I'm not going to charge anything.
Right.
I'm not going to, well, I'm going to do better than that. Still going to give you 10%.
You get 10%.
I'm not going to charge you anything up front. You know why? Because of SB 94. Anybody know what SB 94 is? Okay, it says the Senate Bill 94 that says that people, and we do not do loan modifications. Don't want to be in that business. We don't have anything to do with loan modification. We do not want to be foreclosure consultants of any sort. But in the event that some court would think, well, basically this is a loan modification, we don't want the charge coming up. So we don't charge anybody. Here's what we do. As soon as you come to us to do it for you, we have investors who will put up to $7,995 in we put the property in a trust, in a title holding land trust. We have an investor who will put the contingency funds in the trust. And if a homeowner says, well, I don't want to share my profit with anybody, which they would have to do, want to do it all, then we'll let the homeowner join our national network for $7,995, and then I will pay the money for the contingency fund. So we don't charge anybody anything to do it. Now, we had just recently a doctor in Orange County had a $2.5 million loan on a $1.7 million house. And we started the process. We took his $1.7 million house, we put it in a trust. He owed $2.5 million. Put the property in the trust and so forth. We're going along, we're starting our litigation processes and what have you. He called his attorney in on the deal to have the attorney review the trust. So the attorney called me and on a conference call and said, no, I don't understand this trust. Why are you saying that this is safe? I said, well, it's a title holding land trust. The property is owned by a third-party trustee, and your client is a beneficiary, and then my company is another beneficiary, and we've agreed that at the end, after the trust is terminated, we'll share the profit proportionately with our beneficial interests and so forth. This attorney said, no, this is crazy. That you are nothing but an opportunist mooch. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I don't understand the word mooch, but whatever that is, thank you. He backed out of the deal. Somebody else had put up the $79.95 for the contingency fund in the trust. Somebody else had paid the monthly trustee fee, $12 a month for the trustee fee. We had not charged him a single penny, and we always have a 100% money-back guarantee to anybody who puts in the money. So when we bring an investor in, they put in $79.95, and we say that if we can get it done, great, you're going to get $79.95 plus some percentage of our net profit at the end, or you're going to get 14-15% return on your money, whatever, and the investors are happy. So here's this guy's attorney coming to us saying that we're mooch and we're leeches and that we shouldn't be allowed to practice in the state of California. And he talked his client out of dealing with it. Think about the logic behind that. What does the client have to lose? What he lost.
He lost the house.
He lost, not only lost the house, but he got a $700,000
Forgiveness of indebtedness.
yeah. What is the word?
Forgiveness of indebtedness.
Yeah, well, not only, yeah, but he also got a lawsuit. And the forgiveness of indebtedness wouldn't affect him under the AMP regulations and so forth. More than likely, he's not going to get a 1099 for debt relief, but he would get a deficiency judgment against him by the bank. Because the bank says, you owed us $2.6 million or whatever, $2.7 million, and we got it, we sold it for $1.5 million, so you owe us $1.2 million. That's a deficiency judgment. So he would rather have $1 million deficiency judgment than to have us try to save his house for him before he could. So that's the kind of thing that we're up against, because all this attorney can think about is, it doesn't sound right to me, somebody's trying to screw somebody out of something here. But believe me, folks, we're not. We have every transaction we do, whoever puts in that investment money gets an absolute 100% guarantee, whether we are successful or not. If we can't do it, at the end, we just pay the money back. Now, the investor wouldn't get any interest on the money if we can't do it. He gets all of his money back. So here's how we work right here. We work with our network members across the United States. And if somebody comes along and they say, okay, I want you to do my property and I want to post the contingency fund. We say, well, you can't do that, but you can join the network for $79.95 and we'll post the contingency fund for you. Well, if somebody happens to be one of our Emerald members, they'll make 25% of what I get. What I get out of the $79.95 is about $17.50. So it'd be more than that, but maybe $400 is what they get. No big deal unless they're doing 5 or 10 a month, which many of our people are. It's pretty easy to go find somebody in foreclosure or somebody who needs the services. And if you happen to be a Ruby level member of ours, then you get twice that much. You get $625 for everyone that you bring to us. And if you're doing 5 a month, obviously that's $3,000 a month there. However, you also get the same percentage of net profit when we sell the house or when we get the restitution. So on a $500,000 house, an Emerald member would get $62,500, and somebody like Eddie Del Rosario, one of our members, he's got 36 transactions in process right now. So you can see how much money he would be making, and he's a Ruby member. So on on all of his transactions are over $1 million. So on a $500,000, you make $125,000, and you're doing 5 a month. That's pretty good monthly income. Now, we're not expecting to be paying out $500,000, $600,000 a month, because some of these things take a long time. But if they all go through, then we would. So we know for sure that 90% at least will go through, and some of them already have. And profit on refi, if the owner decides to stay in the property, the way we do that is we have them get a 50% hard money loan. So 50% of a hard money loan on this would be $250,000. Out of the $250,000, we pay $200,000. Thank you, Gail. Got it. We pay $200,000. There's $50,000 left over. We'll give $12,500 to the Emerald member, give $25,000 to the Ruby member, and at the end, after they get the hard money loan, we give them 5 years before they have to either sell or refinance. So at the end of 5 years, if that property hasn't increased 1 penny in value, they would not only get this amount and this amount, they'd also get this amount.